Yo, what is up, everybody? So today I got kind of a cool video going on. There's this table, as you can see, that we've had for quite a while. It's all banged up now. It used to be in the bathroom, but now it's just kind of falling apart. So I decided to take it and turn it into something new, but kind of the same. So let me tell you a little bit about what's going on here. So what I decided to do was kind of cut like river patterns into the top and fill it with clear resin that was tinted. So what I did was I took two pieces of masonite, which was smooth on one side, and I just drew some lines on the top just so I'd be able to line it up once I flipped it over. And I traced out the top of the table on the masonite. So this will just be like kind of like a pattern so I know exactly how to orientate um, the pieces once it's flipped over, because once I cut it and like break it, I'm not going to be able to, guess. So this way I have an outline to be able to place the pieces on top of. So now what I'm doing is I am taking the top off. So I'm not too worried about it breaking or anything because like I said, I'm going to cut like strips out of it. So if it breaks, it's not the biggest deal because I can just work it into the design. So what I did was I just took a hammer and I just kind of tapped the bottom of the top until it came off. So this is an old table, so it was held down just by nails, no screws. So it came up pretty easily. Plus, I'm pretty sure the whole table is made out of pine. So it was really thin and light, so it was easy to get the top off. So now I'm just cleaning the bottom of the top off just so, when I put it down, it will have a better seal on the template rather than there being more space for the resin to escape through. You don't have to go super crazy though because we're going to be sanding the bottom of it once it's complete with all the resin inside. So it's not too big of a deal. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out where I want to make my river pattern. So that piece that I just broke off was already broken, so I just broke it the rest of the way so I could work it into the pattern that I want to do. And I just took a blue Sharpie and I drew some squiggly lines that kind of look like a river in two different places. And I ran these lines going towards where the cracks naturally were. So now what I'm doing is I'm just attaching our template to the table base and bringing our pieces over to it. So what I did here, which I wouldn't really recommend, was I just took a grinder just to get like the basic shape. I'm not even cutting all the way through. It was just to do like the top lines because I just wanted rough line where I wanted my, squiggly lines to be, if that makes sense. I didn't go all the way through because what I wanted to do was take like a hammer and a chisel and stuff like that and break it so it kind of looked jagged. But like I said, I would probably use, the right tool to do this. I wouldn't just go using a grinder, but it's what I had, so I went with it. So I did this on all three pieces, and so next what I did, I just grabbed my saw and I just started hacking away at the pieces that I wanted to break off. So like I said, this is just like, it's rough. It didn't need to go exactly where the grinder line was. It was just, like I said, it was just really, really rough. So I just started taking big chunks off and working my way around all three pieces. And then after I cut off all the big chunks, what I ended up doing was take like a little chisel and just breaking like the smaller pieces away. Not even like, not accurately, just like kind of just like breaking it off where it naturally wanted to break. And it actually worked. It worked quite well because it gave me that jagged edge. And then all I had to do was take my sander, which I didn't actually get any video of, and just sand down like the really sharp edges. And once I had that, it actually looked like kind of like a natural river kind of pattern. So in a lot of the places, what I did was I just cut like right into the piece and just made a bunch of like slotted lines so I could take my my piece and then break little pieces off, if that makes sense. So this is what the three pieces look like after I cut all the big pieces off and sanded them. And as you can see, like, it's a pretty nice, like, rivery kind of like cliffside kind of looking thing, I guess you would call it. And I really like the way it turned out. So what I did was I took a bunch of screws and I screwed the top down because I'm going to have to attach it anyway back to the base. So it wasn't really a concern because I know I'll be able to put those screws in when I'm attaching it to the base. So I screwed it down so we would have like a nice seal to the bottom to the masonite. And it actually worked pretty well, and it's really, really sturdy, and I didn't have a lot of trouble with the resin getting underneath at all, a little bit. So it wasn't too bad. And then I noticed that it had this knot in it, and I didn't really feel like going to look for like a drill bit or something. So what I did was I just took a big screw and I just kept screwing into the knot until I could get the knot out of there, because I just knew it would be really cool looking to fill that with resin too. Um, so yeah, I just kept putting that screw in until the knot pretty much just fell apart. So yeah, this part kind of took a while. I feel like there was definitely an easier way to do this, but I just had the screws there, so I just figured I would use them. Alright, so that's out. Alright, so on that corner, right where the knot was, it was a little loose, so I just clamped it down. So the next thing I did was I took my resin that I actually got from Michaels, so it's probably not the best resin in the world, but I used it before, so I was confident that I'd be able to get like the look I was going for. So I mixed up my first batch, and I just mixed it up just as it is clear, because this was just to seal like the bottom edge and adequately fill the bottom, so I knew there would be no leaks proceeding. So I just poured a thin layer of that clear resin in there. And on another note, I didn't get a video of it, but all I really did was I just took a couple blocks and I hot glued them to the end where, I mean, obviously the main leak would be, and just put some like dabs of hot glue around so it wouldn't leak out the edges of that. And then I just took packing tape and I taped all the way around. That way, even if stuff got underneath, it wouldn't come spewing out everywhere. And this is what it looks like with the first layer of resin in there. It's nice and shiny and clear, and it just made me really excited to get to the next layers. But just remember that you do have to wait for it to cure for an adequate amount of time, or else you run the risk of bubbles being stuck in there and the resin cracking. So the next layer I did, I mixed up some blue. I actually used food coloring, which you're definitely not supposed to use because it doesn't mix in completely, so there are some like blue particles. But I thought that would be kind of cool looking, so I didn't really worry about it. But if you're looking to get like this super clear finish, I would definitely get like, actual resin coloring kits, because they do sell them and they work really well, but I just didn't have it, and like I said, I didn't really worry about like the particles hurting it because it was just all part of the design. Hey guys, so I am heading back to Michael's right now to get some more resin for my table project. I didn't do an intro yesterday when I was going to get the resin for the first round, but I'm doing a video now. Or segment, I guess you would call it. So I'm heading to Michael's now. It's like 10:30 in the morning. Since it takes a long time to do the pours, I want to make sure I have enough time to at least get the resin up to the level I need it. So when I get back, we will continue working on the table. Alright guys, I'll see you in a little while. Bye! Alright, so with day 2, I was actually in the basement because it was raining like hell outside the next day. So I moved down to the basement and I continued the same process. So I just continuously kept mixing up batches, probably like every half hour or so, because with this resin, what you're supposed to do is wait till it reaches like a jelly-like consistency and then put the next layer on top of it. So what I did was every time I mixed up a batch, I'd pour a little bit in that plastic water bottle. That way I could keep checking to when it was the jelly-like consistency, because the heat from the resin previously poured is going to make each layer probably cure faster. So you kind of need to like have a little sample so you know how fast it's curing. And I don't know what my cat was doing. He likes to be with me when I'm in the basement, and for some reason he loves the dirt. So I just keep continuing the process of pouring until it reaches the top of like the coves that I formed. So we've reached the end of part one. Part two will be me sanding this down, sanding the top down, and refinishing the rest of the table. Guys, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Um, if you are excited for part one, leave a comment and like the video. And I'd really love if you guys subscribed. And I'll see y'all next time. Thanks, guys. Bye.